Here goes. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Thursday the 25th of January. So before I get on and look at the currency pairs themselves, let's just have a quick review news-wise. Yesterday, let me just bring this into play, and hopefully this is going to... Okay, it's come on the old price, wrong one. Let's click it back into... There we go. Get rid of these. Oops. Didn't want that. There we go. Right, ready to go then. So yesterday we had the PMI data out, and it came out pretty poorly for the European region as a whole. Still in contraction mode as opposed to positive mode. UK came out pretty well, came out better than expected, and still growing in terms of services, which is the main figure for the UK. It always has been, but that came out positively, and the US came out positively. So it's a game of two halves there, but anyway, that was yesterday. It didn't seem to make a great deal of difference to the euro in the morning. It carried on flying up. Today we've got the ECB meeting at 1:15. We've got the rate announced at, expected to stay at 4.5%. We've also got at 1:30 the advanced GDP for US. So there we go. And initial job claims, but the advanced GDP and core durable goods. So at 1:30 there's likely to be some sort of volatility. 1:15 probably less, unless there's something in the statement that's released that's unexpected. And then at 1:45 we've got the press conference. So quite a bit there this evening, this afternoon even, depending on where you're based. Okay, let's look at the charts, and starting off with the euro. Well, the euro's continuing in yet again another range-bound sort of bit of price action. It did, as I say, yesterday get up there and look quite promising at one stage to carry on pushing through, only to roll over and sell again. Looking at the shorter time frames at the moment, it does, like quite a few of the other currencies, look a bit on the well, there's a few potential setups here, but looking at this, a break below this quarterly pivot, the white quarterly pivot on here, could see further sell-off. However, it is that day, so the ECB day, so probably best avoided, but you never know, might work out quite quickly, but there is the risk. The pound's continuing to push its way along with the figures that are sort of behind it, but it's still one hell of a mess in terms of the price action. Quite difficult to follow at times for some. I mean, yesterday it flew up in the morning there, only to come back and double top and roll over eventually, but it's still, in the bigger picture, in an upward trend, so it's still putting higher lows in effectively. Just again, you'd be drawing trend lines across the lows here, and it would be a reasonable looking chart. The US dollar yen still stalling up here into these previous highs here. It's got quite stuck. In fact, I've got some pivots missing off here, and well, it's not showing the pivot at the moment. I need to refresh that somehow, but there we go. It's got the quarterly R1 it's run into effectively as well. You see it better on the 4 hourly here. Some resistance around that level. Yesterday it was again strengthening, but bounced in the the yen softened in the evening there, or afternoon. What time was it? 2 o'clock when it started softening. Well, I would almost expect it to continue pushing on, but it's a bit like tossing a coin at the moment. Aussie dollar, well, this disappointed me yesterday. It whipped out my stop and eventually rolled back over here. Just stop was just literally, I was away from the absolute highs there, and I still got taken out just about, and it's rolled over on the it went back short again. It's got itself into a right old mess at the moment. Another breakdown here will give it a head and shoulders on the hourly, and maybe we'll see a bigger correction off that, but it's gone out of favour in terms of this shaping up it's doing at the moment, until, as I say, it sets up something like the head and shoulders. Maybe it'll be worth a look then. Canadian dollar, the Canadian dollar continued on the upside here eventually. Again, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it really got its move. It was looking fine for a bit more of a correction to the downside, but it again switched back and all change. From where it is at the moment, there'll be some divergence over the highs here. Looking quite well, iffy really. Maybe it could be a buy off the daily pivot if it gets back down there, but with the divergence, and it will put a lower high at that stage. There's quite a bit of a risk on that at the moment. New Zealand dollar still short on this, still running again yesterday, but it didn't really close as low, but I had got in this at an earlier point in the Aussie. It's still, well, dancing around these lows here. Still got potential to roll over. To actually go into it today, I don't know, perhaps if you were looking that it's below its daily pivot, if it was to react to the daily pivot here and start rolling over, potentially it's got a daily move back down to its S1 and maybe beyond into these prior lows. Swing wise, it's probably not looking so nice as where I got in, but it's just consolidating. But saying that, it's consolidating largely around its lows. Let's just check. Yeah, where it was. So we'll see what happens there. So quite a lot of bitty markets. The US dollar Swissy. Now this is interesting in terms of its price action here. Mentioned yesterday how it's gone into its underside of its yearly pivot there. It did get a bigger reaction through the day there. It's now back to the trend line, or it came back to the trend line there and consolidating. And on the shorter time frames, it's got this little bear flag kicking in here. So there is the potential for a bit of a continuation down towards the S1 for an intraday trade, and probably looking about the best there is at the moment. But this is pre 8 o'clock. We'll see what happens post 8 o'clock, but it does look softer. Is there more in it? Well, potentially. We've got the weekly pivot down even further back into these prior highs, which could be an alternative or a bigger target. Right, I'm going to look through the crosspairs in a short while in the trading room, so I'll leave that for a moment. Let's just have a look at gold. Bigger time frame, well, softened again yesterday, staying within this sort of range of the pivots here. It's got the monthly pivot at the top, the yearly pivot sitting below there, and that's potentially its range for now. Gold, another one. Yesterday it did edge up a little bit further, only to well, it's still in a sort of a messy zone, and yes, it is sort of looking like well, it could continue. Again, it moved there yesterday, where actually it moved at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it went the other way, but this is, as my suspicion is, this is going to slowly drift its way up there. You're going to look back and this is going to be some sort of trend at some stage to the upside, but it really is quite a messy one, especially if you're just day trading it. If you've got a bit of a swing long in it, it's got some scope, but the bigger picture for me on the oil is to the downside. However, inventories yesterday, I noticed the inventories were a lot lower than expected, significantly lower in the US. They really are using it up. Okay, the dollar index, the S&Ps. Well, yesterday was probably when I was looking at it yesterday, that was probably it. It's not doing a great deal here. Just looking at the shorter time frames. Ooh. Just looking at where we are at the moment. Yes, bare flaggy sort of on these very short time frames. I wouldn't, as ever, I wouldn't chase these shorts. But it is looking soft again. It put the shooting star the other day. It's just putting some signs in here that it may just be slowing up for now. A bit of uncertainty, and no surprises. It's pushed so hard already this year. It's had a reasonable push up there. DAX. So the DAX continued to push its way up. That ran through yesterday at 7, and on the 4 hourly 7 o'clock, it just carried on running through most of yesterday. Just looking at it, it would have been nice if it had come back down to its pivot here. It would have been a perfect little flag pattern to continue. At the moment, it's a bit of a coin toss. It's got the draw of the pivot there, which is pretty high in the 70s, 70% chance of that being hit. So might be worth just hanging out there. However, the break of this more recent high could see it running up to its R1 and continuing its journey. Maybe back. Bear flag continues, not really doing anything. It's very the only thing is, the longer this lasts, the more likely it'll just continue. So it's I was looking at it thinking, well, maybe it'll roll over, but no, it's continuing in that slow old trend upwards on the intermediate time frames here. Quite choppy during the daytime, but there we go. Right, I'm going to leave it there. If you want to join me, the links of you on the YouTube site, the link will be below the video here. Have a great day. I'll catch you later. There we go. That's that got rid of.